Good services. Visit Financial Credit Union is located at 300 North Beeline Highway, just like Walmart, and their number is 602-433-7000.
And a big thank you to Desert Financial Credit Union for sponsoring our KRIM Community Spotlight Program. Good morning, Rim Country. Chris Higgins in the studio. Hope you had a great weekend, and I hope you're having a great Monday morning. That's right, you can have a great Monday morning. I know it might be a little hard after the weekend, but it's still a beautiful day out there, beautiful clouds in the sky. Looking at getting some rain possibly today or tomorrow, and that's always a great thing. Well, in the studio today, we're going to be talking about the Fire on the Rim mountain bike race taking place this weekend, this Saturday, in Pine. And to talk about that is Scott Kehl, from the Pine Strawberry Fuel Reduction Group, and then also Joan Backman from Pine Strawberry Fuel Reduction as well. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Chris.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
You're so welcome. Yeah, it's great to talk about the Fire on the Rim mountain bike race. Just really a wonderful event up here in Rim Country. And what year is it now for the race?
Oh, you were asking all the hard questions.
I know.
I think it's 13.
13?
Yes.
So we have to say 12 then.
Well,
Oh, lucky number 13.
Yeah, lucky
Come
number
on,
13.
lucky number 13.
We're not superstitious.
But some people are.
Some people are, some people aren't. But you know what? I know in some places they skip the 13th floor in buildings.
Yes, I know.
I know, yeah.
There were a 13th row in the aircraft.
Mm.
Yes.
So it might be the 13th, but hey, it might be the 12th. But it has been going on for quite a few years now.
Yes.
And it's a wonderful event. And it mainly, and that's why Joan, we're going to talk a little bit about the Pine Strawberry Fuel Reduction Group, because that's, I guess, why this race was started. It was really all about fuel reduction, fire breaks, and just creating a safer community, along with all of the benefits of having the trails, having trails for biking, running, tourism, all of it. I mean, so it does a great job accomplishing both of those things. So I guess if you want to talk a little bit about the Pine Strawberry Fuel Reduction, the group, and its mission.
Okay. Well, our mission is to mitigate the possibility of wildfires for the communities of Pine and Strawberry. And we do that through a number of different ways, funding fuel breaks, and this fundraiser and the Pine Trail Run fundraiser help build trails. And trails aren't just for recreation, they aren't just for the commercial benefit of bringing people to the area, but trails help if there is a wildfire. It can get the firefighters out there that much faster. If you've ever tried to bushwhack your way through this intense brush, it takes a long time, but if you've got a trail, you're there in a fraction of the time. So that to me is the ultimate benefit of trails. It's great to have them for the recreation, but ultimately it's to help with a fuel break and getting the firefighters out there.
The fuel break, yeah, so the thing about the fuel break is anytime you build a fuel break, you have to maintain it. So every year the Forest Service sends a crew out there with chainsaws and maintains a fuel break, and they use the trails to get there to maintain the fuel breaks. Yeah, so the trails are important.
Yeah, so again, serving that dual purpose or purpose. So the Fire on the Rim mountain bike race is this Saturday. And can people still register, Scott?
Yes, you can actually register online through Thursday.
Okay.
And it's actually, you can register online through Saturday. But you really need to be at the barn Friday evening and Saturday to register online. Otherwise, we're not going to know about you. We're going to be out there. We are going to have the registration online at the barn. But once you do that, then we hand you your information, your plate, and all that. So you'd be ready to go first thing in the morning.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so you can still register, from your home through Thursday night.
Okay. And the late registration, you can also go to the barn, and the barn, the red barn, it's
Big red
barn
barn.
is right there. Is it part of the Gila County complex or next to it?
It actually is.
It is part of it.
Gila County owns that property.
Okay.
And the address is actually 3180 North Old County Road.
Okay.
Some maps shows 3180 Old County Road.
Uh-huh.
So you can look up on the map, but that's the venue, that's where the late registration is, and that's where the race starts and finishes.
Okay. And to get there, if you're traveling up from Payson or from the from the south and coming into Pine, you can turn on Bradshaw. And Bradshaw, there's a four-way stop there, and that's Old County Road, and you'll see the big red barn to your right. Or a lot of people know about Old County Inn, and that's also on Old County Road. And you can turn right there and go down Old County Road, and then the big red barn will be on your right-hand side. So, so the late registration is from 4 to 7 on Friday. You can come down and also pick up your packet and check in at that time as well. Now, is there, there's a beer garden, vendors, is there a dinner that night?
Friday night, we're having a community dinner, so it's not just for the bikers, it's for community. It runs from 4 to 7 p.m. and we're serving beer and brats. The brats are cooked the old German style in beer and with all the fixings and potato salad and watermelon. And there will be a beer garden. There also will be live music Friday night, and there'll be live music Saturday afternoon from noon to 2.
Gotcha. So live music out there for people to enjoy. And again, like Joan said, you don't have to be participating in the race. You don't have to be riding. If you want to come out and just do the dinner, enjoy the dinner that night, you can do that. If you want to come out Friday night and then, come out Saturday and cheer on the riders, just take in the atmosphere. Because it's a great atmosphere, and all the bells. You still have the bells?
Gotta have the cowbells,
Gotta have
because
the
you can never
cowbells.
have too many cowbells.
We also have a silent auction. So that
okay.
wraps up Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
But you can see everything Friday, it'll all be in the barn, all the items, and start bidding on it.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got some great items, some gift baskets, and then my husband Steve every year makes a bell for the Fire in the Rim race. It's made out of an old welding tank.
Oh, wow.
And it's all painted up and polished up, and then he has a wind catcher that's the Fire on the Rim insignia, the logo. This year we also had someone donate a porch swing that they made.
Oh, wow.
And it is really cool, and so that's going to be a hot item for the
Wow.
silent auction.
It's heavy duty.
Yeah, it's a heavy duty one. So that silent auction opens up Friday.
Correct.
Friday, and then on Saturday, you can still register. That's really late registration, though. I mean, that's for the people that are very, very last minute.
Right.
That late registration opens up Saturday morning at 6 a.m. And then it closes a half an hour before each race starts. So there's 3 races, Scott?
Yes, there's 15, well, we call it 15, 30, and 45-mile races.
Okay.
The 15-mile race is 16.3 miles. It's a trail, it's a trail.
Yeah.
You can't get it, it's not
Yeah.
a certified course, obviously.
Yeah.
The 30-mile is about 29.6, so we're pretty close on that. The 45-mile is just over 42 miles.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
It's just because you go up and then you do these loops and then you come back, so that's why
Yeah.
the distance varies.
Yeah, and I mean on a trail, that's kind of hard to get
I know.
the exact.
Yeah, you can't just stop.
Yeah.
45 or hit 15 miles, there you go.
There you go.
Someone with a line in the sand,
Yeah.
And that last mile is all downhill, so it's easy.
Oh,
Because you've done the
It's a
worst of
piece
it by
cake,
then.
yeah.
It's a piece
If
of
you made it 15 miles,
Yeah.
the last mile, 0.3 is easy.
So, Joan, if part of it is all downhill, then it means that part of it is going to be uphill too.
The initial part.
Do we mention that, or?
Oh, yeah, no, it's all just wonderful.
It's all just, yeah, there's no uphills. It's a
Yeah.
great ride. You get people coming back and saying, you lie.
Yeah.
That is
So
not
it's
true.
a fairly tough course.
Uh,
And one thing I don't quite understand is out of the 123 people registered so far, 118 are male.
mm-hmm.
So our female population is very underrepresented. I don't know why, I know it's a tough course, but I know from the Pine Trail Run, because when we do the 50K, which is tough, because you
Yeah.
gotta climb the hill, it's about 50-50.
Oh, wow.
So women are at least as tough as men. I know
Oh, yeah.
probably tougher, so I'm not sure why we're not getting a lot of women register for this race.
Come on,
Maybe women-
ladies, get out
Yeah,
there.
get out there, prove to the men that you're tougher than they are, because I know you are.
That's interesting. Yeah, I have to check into that. I know a few female riders. Michelle Nelson with the Basin Roundup. She
Oh,
rides,
yes,
and then
yes.
Angie Abel. She's with the Tonto National.
We know them.
Yeah, Forest Service. So I have to talk with them and say,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
girls, come on,
Yeah.
get registered. They might respond with, well, how about you get registered,
Yeah.
Chris? And, I don't have a bike.
Yeah.
Now, we have really improved the Pine Strawberry Trail this year.
Mhm.
In the past year, our trail crew has done 4 reroutes that avoid some really nasty rocky sections, some steep washes where you go down and then have to climb up out of them.
Yeah.
So we had a pre-ride this past weekend, and both Scott and I talked to some of the riders, and they were just thrilled
Nice.
with how the Pine Strawberry Trail is, and that those new reroutes have made it more fun and safer.
Oh,
So
yeah, that is good to hear.
Yeah.
So the 15-mile race on Saturday morning, this Saturday, starts at 8 a.m. So you need to be registered by no later than 7:30. That's the cutoff.
That's it.
The 30-mile race begins at 7:45. And so the cutoff for that race, registration, is 7:15. And then the 45-mile race, for all you real crazy fanatics out there, you're not an enthusiast now. You're a hardcore rider. You're doing 45 miles on trails. That race begins at 7:30. So the cutoff for registration would be 7 o'clock. Beer garden opens at 10 a.m. Saturday morning. And then also there's a kids race too. So that's great. So if you come as a family, your kids are riding, that race starts at 1:30. And how long is that, Scott? What is that
It's
ride
just,
look
there's
like?
a horse arena at the property there. And
Okay.
it just goes around that, I don't know how many times actually. It's free.
Okay.
They do get medals.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's great. And then silent auction and Saturday at 2. So yeah, it's just a great morning out there at, again, the Big Red Barn. It's right there on Old County Road in Pine, on the corner of Old County and Bradshaw. So yeah, the race, it's great. How many years now it's been going on. The purpose, though, of this race and also the Pine Trail Run is to raise money, is to get funds to help with the pine strawberry fuel reduction efforts. So before the program, we're talking a little bit, and you guys were sharing with me about the equipment that you just got. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure.
Jen?
My husband and I lucked into a deal on a relatively new mini excavator last summer.
Oh.
And so we bought it personally, and we've used it on our property, but we take it up onto the trails whenever we can. And it has caused a fraction of the time to be spent building a brand new trail or a reroute. So, he operates it, and once he roughs out that trail, then the trail crew, we just have to kind of do the finish work. So that has really helped. We also have had a motorized wheelbarrow for a few years that was donated to the group, but it had continual problems with breaking down, and it also wasn't good in steep areas. So we found a motorized wheelbarrow, except instead of wheels, it has tracks now, like a tank.
Yeah.
And so it's great on the trails, steep trails. It'll haul, I don't know, half a ton of rock at one time. The guys kind of fight over who gets to operate it, because it's it's kind of a badge of courage that you've operated this thing. And that was the cost of it came to about $3,000, and we actually had an anonymous donor give us half of the cost of this
Wow.
motorized rock carrier. I
Yeah.
don't, not necessarily wheelbarrow. And so the other half came out of the donated funds that or the fundraising money that we make. So,
Yeah.
and we've had to buy some new tools. About, I don't know, a year or so ago, we had kind of the same 8 folks show up for trail work. And the Payson Roundup has been a great partner in publicizing our schedule, and so we've pretty much doubled our numbers, and so trails are being built much faster. So now we've got 15, 17, 18 people out there. So we've had to buy more tools, and tools get broken.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, where some of that fundraising money goes to. So at the bike race on Saturday, we're going to have some of the tools on display there, including the motorized wheelbarrow rock carrier, and then my husband's bringing the excavator in so people can see, you know, just what it's like, and so just kind of help people understand what some of the tools are. And you know, I think there's a misconception about working on the trail crew, that you have to be this He-Man, you know, with giant muscles, and not true. We have a couple people like that, but I mean, I'm also out there working on the trail crew, and I do a lot of brush clipping, and we have a few other ladies, and everybody works at their own pace, and you don't ever get pushed to do something that you're not comfortable with doing. So it's a fun group, and I always say it's fun, hard work, and you walk away with this great feeling of accomplishment.
Wow. Again, talking with Joan Backman and Scott Kehl of the Pine Strawberry Fuel Reduction Group, and talking about the trails, all of the efforts to make new trails and also maintain all of the current trails. Because as you had said earlier, Scott, the trails, it's a constant maintenance, because everything grows back.
Yeah.
Things will grow back, or there's some minor erosion or different things you have to deal with. I know so much thought, and there's so much experience by all of the volunteers and the people working on trails, as far as trail placement and how a trail is done, how it's made to minimize erosion, and also the degradation of the trail. There's a lot of thought that goes into that, isn't there, Joe?
Absolutely, yeah. And I don't know, sometime during the winter, we had a class that was put on by a very experienced trail building contractor from Flagstaff. He came here, and we took, I don't know, about 6 of our core members, and then the Payson Rim Country Mountain Biking Association had about 6 of their members. So the 12 of us had this 2-day class, and it was really interesting to see all the, like you said, the different things that go into it, making sure you've got the slope correct so that the water runs off slowly, making sure that you don't make the trails too steep, so that the average hiker is winded unnecessarily. So yeah, it's a fascinating process, and we do hope to have another class this coming winter, because like I said, we've got so many new people that are on trails now that helping us that we want to get them trained too.
Yeah, and that's something, whether you're riding a mountain bike or running, Scott. You mentioned it in this interview today, Joan. You were saying how the the riders doing the pre-ride, the feedback you got is real positive. The trails, kind of the reroutes or the modifications to the trails, they're really enjoying them. And it's the same with running, isn't it, Scott?
Oh yeah, the runners are a little bit more flexible because the rocks don't quite affect them as the bike. You know, it's harder to get the bike tires, but yeah, we get comments and so forth.
But there's still like consideration about flow and the
Oh, yeah.
How steep and just so on. Different things that if you're not a trail runner, you probably wouldn't think about. And maybe some things that you don't necessarily notice, but when you're on the trail, like you wouldn't pick out just looking at the trail, but when you're running it, it just makes it feel better. It makes for a better experience.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so one of the things is for the bike race, we go right now, it's on private property on the other side of Strawberry Mountain. And the eventual plan is put a trail on top of that, so we're not on that private property where it's a kind of old Jeep road. And
Gotcha.
it'd be a regular trail.
Huh.
So that's the plan. We haven't got approval yet from the Forest Service. These things take many years to get approval for something like that. But one of the things I wanted to mention is, John said, the trail workers are all volunteers. But we have to pay for equipment and repairs of the mechanized, even if we don't buy it or we pay for part of it, the fuel and everything like that.
Yeah.
In past years, we've hired a company to do the heavy brush cutting. I'm thinking maybe we'll see how it works with the new equipment that we have. Maybe we can do it ourselves. We'll see. But that's where the expense is. But so your registration fees, that really, we try to minimize the race expenses. So a lot of that actually goes to the trails. In fact, this year we've changed something is that we're doing our own registration and timing. And so right
Oh,
there,
wow.
we're going to save about $3,000 for the organization. So when people register, a lot of that money goes to what we want it to go to instead of miscellaneous expenses.
Wow. Yeah, because the equipment, like you said, Jonah, as you add volunteers, add people that are out there, you need more equipment. And the equipment, I mean, it's probably stout equipment, but still, it's getting used when you're beating the ground or, getting rocks, prying rocks, sawing, blades get dull, just all of it. So you do need to replace the equipment, every so often because, you don't want volunteers out there. You don't want to be out there with equipment that is worn out, not as effective, and then it takes longer for you to, do the job.
And it could be unsafe as well.
Yeah.
If someone suddenly had the pickaxe head flew off as they're chopping a rock or something like that.
Yeah. So it is vital that the equipment is in good repair and that you have enough. So if people would like to volunteer to help out with trails, is that possible on the website? And I think the website is psfuelreduction.org.
Correct, yes. And in the upper left-hand corner is a tab that says Get Involved.
Okay, I see it right here,
And
yeah.
it'll take you to a sign-up page with a whole list of different options for volunteering, and trail maintenance is one of them. So that's
Gotcha.
an easy way. But just to give people an idea, we work every Tuesday morning. During the summer, it's we start at 8 o'clock and we're done by 11:30, sometimes 12-ish, so about 4 hours, 3.5, 4 hours. And then in the wintertime, we push back the start time till 9 o'clock, so it warms up a little bit. And then again, we work 3.5, 4 hours.
Well, and on the website, it's great. It's a great resource on that page, how to get involved. Obviously, there's the box where you can sign up to volunteer, volunteer code of conduct, the expectations that you have of all the volunteers. But then ways to donate as well. So if you can't volunteer, but you really want to contribute to Pine Strawberry Fuel Reduction, you can make a financial donation and then become more FireWise, which when you click on that, FireWise awareness, just all of the resources that are available, vegetation management, what are fuels, why Firewise, and I think this is great because there are people that move up to this area, to Rim Country, that have never lived in the forest. So these are maybe a lot of uncommon terms or things that they're not accustomed to. You don't have firewising when you're living in Mesa. It's a little different. So, you know, we, as we've lived in Rim Country for a while, are used to the terms, and we throw, you know, different things out there, and, you know, fuels and fuels. Wait, there's actually fuel out there? It's like, well, the vegetation and, you know, just different things. So it's great for people to go to the website so they can learn more about firewising and the importance of it. So that is good. Now, do you also, I think the pine strawberry fuel reduction, you do like seminars, or you have speakers come in, or you do a lot of different events.
Yeah,
don't you?
we have educational events and helping people, you know, prepare for the worst case scenario. The Ready, Set, Go program through Gila County. So we put those on both in Pine and in Payson. We also operate the brush pit that's on the control road just south of Pine. And the brush pit is open every Sunday until the end of October. People can bring in their, you know, clippings, pine needles, small limbs, no great big logs, no big roots. And that's open from 8 to 3, something like that, yes.
Yeah, Sundays.
Gotcha. And that's Pine Brush Pit. That's also on the website right here.
It's free. We don't charge for it.
Yeah. And again, that's just for vegetation. It's not for, you know, some people might think, oh, wood is wood. Well, it's not for lumber, just for vegetation.
And the nice outcome of that, besides, you know, reducing the risk of wildfires in our community, is we have partnered with the biomass power plant that's over by Snowflake.
Yeah.
And so they come over with their big trucks and they
Masticate.
chop it up and form the fuel that they use to make electricity. So it kind of goes full circle. So
and it has on the website, new hours are 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. So I think those are new
that was
hours.
summer. I think we're back now to 8 to 3.
And then Brush Pit will be open this Sunday. That's April 2nd, 8 to 4. So
yeah. Maybe it is 8 to 4, but the summer hours we moved it up to 7 because it was so hot.
Gotcha. And also, I know you're looking for volunteers for people to work at the Brush Pit as well.
Correct, yeah. They just kind of guide people in, tell them where to back in and dump their stuff off. And
Yeah. So a lot of opportunities to help out with the pine strawberry fuel reduction. I'm sure also volunteers for the race.
Oh, yeah.
And
there's a number of events, and we're always looking for volunteers to put on this race for the Fire in the Rim. We've got over 100 volunteer spots.
Wow. Wow. And so there's a phone number, an email address on the website that you can also reach out, contact the group, Pine Strawberry Fuel Reduction, if you'd like to get involved, you know, in a different aspect, or even for events, just volunteer for the events.
And if I can make one more comment about the trail crew, I said we work every Tuesday morning, and we also add in the last Saturday morning of the month for people who are either here on the weekends or they work a Monday through Friday job. So so that last Saturday morning of each month we do trail work. So I just wanted to throw that out.
Great. And again, I encourage you to visit the website psfuelreduction.org, and again, you can find out you know, all the information you want to know about pine strawberry fuel reduction, firewising, the events that are going on, all the different fundraisers. and more, and also sponsorship opportunities. So if you're a business in Rim Country and you would like to sponsor Pine Strawberry Fuel Reduction, there are opportunities there as well. So again, this Saturday, the Fire on the Rim mountain bike race. Races starting anywhere from 7:30 to 8 o'clock. But Friday night, the community dinner, beer brats, potato salad, and more. Live music Friday night and Saturday. So it's all happening there at the Old Red Barn, or the Big Red Barn, on Old County Road in Pine.
And it's not just for mountain bikers, there's something for
Yeah.
everybody, so.
And I forgot to mention, I know before the show, pointed out the kids' activity area. So
Carnival
there's
games,
the
yeah.
carnival games and just a lot of fun activities for kids. Also the kids' mountain bike, or the kids, mountain bike race, the kids' race.
Rock
So,
painting and
rock painting, oh my gosh, a long
Horseshoes.
list. Yeah,
Yeah, we're
cornhole.
trying to convince Joan to put that equipment there in the game area, but she's
Yeah.
resisting it. I don't get
The,
that.
oh yeah, just let
no,
the kids.
No, I don't think so.
Come on, yeah, the excavator.
Come on, the
yeah, see what
excavator,
they can do.
yeah.
Or, the motorized wheelbarrow,
Yes.
or rock mover,
Yeah.
See how many kids you can pile on there and move it along? No, yeah, Scott, sounds like liability. Some would view it as fun, that sounds like fun to me, but then, darn liability these days. Well, again, thank you guys for coming on this morning.
Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, you are-
Publicizing our event and our organization.
Oh, you're welcome. It's such a great cause. You guys do, so much for the community, for the Pine Strawberry area. And for this area, for Payson too, because the more people that come up to our communities, I mean, it's like we're one big community, Rim Country here, with Payson and Star Valley and Pine Strawberry. People come up, and the more time they can spend in the area altogether, the better it is for everybody. So thank you so much, and thank you everyone for watching and listening this morning. It's time to get back to the music now, and we're going to hear from Lou Reed, Prince, and other artists. But first, let's get an update from the National Weather Service.
With this morning's
Let me stop this. See you later, guys.